बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम। एयर चीफ मार्शल साहब मुजाहिद अनवर खान, चीफ ऑफ द एयर स्टाफ, पाकिस्तान एयर फोर्स, respected former air chiefs, foreign delegates, principal staff officers and PF veterans, families of the Shuhada, retired Air Force officers, some of them very familiar to me, Farooq Umar Sahab, जिनको अभी अवार्ड मिला, my hosted Kamra, Air Marshal, Secretary General of Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf before me, Shahid Zulfiqar Sahab, Riaz Fatiana Sahab, if he is here, my political friend. Ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum. I am pleased to attend the Golden Jubilee celebrations of Miraj aircraft and Color Award ceremony of number 22 and number 27 squadrons. And I take this opportunity to extend my gratitude to the Chief of the Air Staff, Pakistan Air Force, for the invitation and interaction with our heroes at the Pakistan Air Force base. This is a historic moment, and I must congratulate the ingenuity of our technicians, of our workers, in keeping a Miraj aircraft, even after 52 years, afloat and a very potent weapon to defend my country. At the same time, I must thank the cooperation of the original suppliers. The fact that Pakistan sometimes has to do these things reminds me of the fact that our nuclear reactor in Karachi, Kanup 1, supplies were restricted, but the excellence of our engineers, atomic energy engineers, kept that reactor functioning, and it is still functioning today. This is remarkable. The ability, despite what may happen, the ability of our engineers and technicians, and the fact that you honor them today. They are the real heroes who will keep on bringing and improving our technical ingenuity in different areas. And the fact that Pakistan Air Force manufactures JF-17, builds JF-17, and at the same time, like it was mentioned here, it is the only Air Force today which builds its own aircraft and flies with them, and ensures the fact that Pakistan remains well defended, despite the fact that we have a belligerent neighbor, and a few incidents were narrated here of what has happened. Despite the fact that the belligerent neighbor has far bigger resources than us, and we have even been able to defend ourselves. So if I had a hat, I would say hats off to the Pakistan Air Force. Pakistan Air Force individually, personally, have produced for me heroes which I have looked up upon all my life. And I remember, and I was narrating the fact that the heroes of Pakistan, and all of you remember Air Marshal Noor Khan Sahab, a brilliant organizer, produced by the Pakistan Air Force, who went out, and his organizational skills and his honesty, which Pakistan has afterwards started missing, his organizational skills and honesty. The government of Pakistan requested him to lead Pakistan hockey. I don't know whether he was a hockey player, but I definitely know that he was not a cricket player, and then he led Pakistan cricket, not in the field, but in organization. I never met him, but he was my hero. But the next gentleman I'm going to talk about, I met him. I admire him tremendously. Unke saath meri niyazmandi thi, Air Marshal Azhar Khan Sahab, the late, who brought the principles of honesty from the Pakistan Air Force, a good organizer, brought it into politics. And when we started organizing our political party, we looked upon him. as a guide. People would tell us, and Mr. Imran Khan, the Prime Minister of Pakistan, people would tell us that Air Marshal Asghar Khan was not successful, and we would argue that he was successful in giving morality, a kind of morality into politics when it was missing. A great and brilliant man. Wow. I am grateful to him. When I used to come to Islamabad, occasionally he would invite me over to his house for dinner, and when I would he would go to Karachi, I would meet him and I would pay my respects. So ladies and gentlemen, these are the institutions. You are the people who have shown light in so many sectors, and it is because of your leadership that you produce excellence, you produce professionalism, and you produce honest people, which Pakistan has always needed, and the future of Pakistan is related to this fact: professional excellence as well as honest leadership. And let me just read out to you, which is there in the back of the hall. Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah said, "A country without a strong air force is at the mercy of any aggressor." And we have seen that. You have narrated the stories. And so Pakistan must build up an air force as quickly as possible. You have done that. Despite limitations of resources, you have done that. It must be an efficient air force. And then he says a remarkable statement of 3 words: it should be second to none. And ladies and gentlemen, you are second to none. That's what I say. The Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah laid down 3 basic principles for a nation: unity, faith, and discipline. Whether they are followed by any organization, the faith in that organization, the faith in my taqdeer, if I were not in an organization but a living human being, the faith in my taqdeer and the iman which I have. And then definitely unity. The stories which I heard today is the unity and cooperation between different fields. There used to be, when the radars was not so efficient, there used to be a controller who would guide the pilot to the right place. That's teamwork. And then discipline is very important. We are learning that as a nation. But we are at the point where things will change. So therefore the leadership vision shown to us by Quaid-e-Azam, and this leadership vision is not an accident of history. This leadership vision has at least a history in the subcontinent of more than 150 years. And recently I was talking about the fact that Sir Syed Ahmad Khan in 1858, a year after what we call the independence struggle and what was called in history then as a mutiny, Sir Syed Ahmad Khan wrote a pamphlet asking the Muslims to study, to educate themselves. And in that period he said, stay away from politics because you need to arm yourselves with intellect. The saying which is still true. He changed his mind after 20 or 30 years in 1887 and 1888. He spoke at Lucknow and then he spoke at Meerut, and then he said that the Muslims of India should then start looking at their own defense, should start looking at their own rights, to have a humanitarian kind of unity. And our founder of the nation, Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah, believed in unity. He believed in keeping all religions together, and that is the message we carry. But then he found 1906, 1907, Sir Sultan Muhammad Khan Agha Khan writes that the person who opposed us in 1906 when the Muslim League was established and they had its first function in Dhaka, Nawab of Dhaka, Nawab Salimullah from Dhaka, whose descendant Khwaja Nazimuddin became the Prime Minister of Pakistan. And then 1907 in Karachi, and 1908 in Agra, the Muslim League conventions He wrote that Qaeda Muhammad Ali Jinnah, a brilliant barrister from Bombay, believes that India can remain united. But by 1927, 28, when Allama Iqbal gave his lectures, reconstruction of political thought in Islam, Quaid-e-Azam decided that this kind of polity will not work. Pakistan has to go towards independence, and he is our hero. He is the person who said, for you, he said, and you have fulfilled that. The nation should be fulfilling what the leaders of the nation, the founders of the nation willed upon us. And he said that you have to be second to none. So our direction was laid down at least in the subcontinent more than 150 or 200 years ago. So ladies and gentlemen, now coming to today, Pakistan is faced with tremendous difficulties, something which we ourselves sometimes made mistakes. We ourselves sometimes divided our people. There were war on the eastern front of Pakistan, which damaged us tremendously. We polarized our people. So we have learnt over the last 30 or 40 years how to remain united, how to come back to unity. And Pakistan, thanks to the armed forces of Pakistan, Pakistan is the only country, while it was mentioned Pakistan is the only country which manufactures its aircraft and flies them. Pakistan is the biggest country in the world which has been successful in winning the war on terror. No country has been successful as much as Pakistan. Because of you, we have been successful. No country in the world, even superpowers, have created situations where lives have been lost, the victory still eludes them. But Pakistan, we protected our eastern border, while as you go right up to Libya, you come across countries which have fallen under terror. And we have survived because of our armed forces. So tribute to you, and because of our people, the sacrifice we made, the shuhada, more than almost between 70,000 to 100,000 people, the economic losses we faced. So we have given a sacrifice to achieve unity in the country, to achieve unity of thought, to achieve unity of purpose to our lives, to become a successful nation. But then what happens is what I want to warn you about. Despite the fact that when Mr. Imran Khan and this government came and offered, you are defenders of my country, so therefore you should be aware of what are the politics of the region. So Mr. Imran Khan offered that if India takes one step forward, we take 2 steps forward towards peace. Why? Because we believe that while we defend ourselves, we ensure the fact that my country remains independent, and we have done a tremendous job. At the same time, we must ensure that there is peace in the region, because there is poverty in the region, because there is illiteracy in the region, because economically this region is not as prosperous as it should have been. If you read the history, this region, which was called India and Pakistan or Hindustan in the earlier days, was the most prosperous. In the 16th and the 17th century, the highest GDP belonged to this region. And then we lost our way somewhere. So therefore, Mr. Imran Khan, the people of Pakistan, all politicians of Pakistan, irrespective of which party, everyone wants peace, wanted peace. But it's the belligerence of India, whereby Pakistan Air Force has been tested, and Pakistan Air Force has performed. Pakistan Air Force has created heroes like M.M. Alam, made a name in the world, because you needed to defend. So therefore, we want at the same time that while you defend, there must be peace. And the biggest example of the recent incident which was mentioned here, when Indians attacked Balakot after a situation, sometimes it is claimed that it was their own creation at Pathankot, when Indians attacked inside Pakistan's territory, Mr. Imran Khan, you heard him say that we will not think of retaliating, we'll retaliate. And within a day, ladies and gentlemen, let me mention that, and I said that in a television interview only yesterday recording for 28, that my head lifted with pride, because I am responsible. आपकी अमानत जो सदारत में मुझे पहुंचाया, my head lifted with pride with how you performed and how you reacted, and you shot down an Indian aircraft in Pakistan territory, showing to the world. Had it crashed inside India, they would have said that it was Pakistan Air Force intruded into Indian territory. So remarkable job. You told the world that you are masters of your own destiny, despite the fact that the numbers were far bigger against you, despite the fact that the aircraft may be more capable on the other side of the border. You showed that we can defend ourselves. और उर्दू में कहें कि जो हाथ हमारी तरफ बढ़ेगा उसको काट देंगे, जो आंख हमारी तरफ खराबी से देखेगी वो आंख हम निकाल देंगे. That is true. So therefore, going beyond that, there are testing times coming again. And let me tell you, when I started talking about the fact that we have learned so many lessons, India is falling into those pitfalls which Pakistan has climbed out of. It's creating tension within its own people. It's creating disharmony within itself. Doesn't make us any happier, because we saw that whatever happens on one border, the remnants of that, the effect of that happens inside the neighbor's country also. So we fear that India destabilizes in what it is doing. And imagine, you cannot isolate a 14% or 15% population on any grounds. Can you imagine the representation of the minorities in Indian parliaments? Hardly 2%, where they should have been 14%. And you have seen the laws being changed, retrogressive laws are coming in. So I wish India well, but as far as Pakistan is concerned, as far as Kashmir is concerned, we want a solution of Kashmir based on the principles of self-determination as promised by the United Nations. And we caution India never to take Pakistan lightly. But you are our defenders. These are bogies, as you mentioned in your own terms. We have bogies at least on the eastern side of our border. Things are different today. The region is being destabilized by armaments in a manner with which we believe that if these armaments are supplied to India, Pakistan will have to bend over backwards to achieve some kind of balance. Let me mention to you, Air Marshal Saab, BrahMos 2, the possibility of hypersonic missiles which are going to at 8.5 Mach, or 8 times or 8.5 times the speed of sound, within minutes it will be inside Pakistan. So therefore, there should be these issues should be tackled. We must increase our defenses to fight against a self-described enemy. For Pakistan, we want peace. We don't want to have enemies. A self-described enemy which raises the level of your performance, that it should be much higher to counter a changing situation. So, congratulations to all of you. I must congratulate Air Marshal Saab, Mujahid Anwar Saab, for leading an organization which has performed so well. So, the government, inshallah, will recognize your services with an award very soon, a deserving award, exemplifying the fact that leaders like these should be appreciated like the way you have appreciated all these, the team which you have created in the Pakistan Air Force. In the end, let me give you a vision of Pakistan which should make you understand that Pakistan is changing. All the indicators, whether they are in economy, whether they are against corruption, all indicators in Pakistan are positive. Pakistan is at the tipping point. I believe very strongly that Pakistan within a decade is going to emerge as one of the strongest nations on earth. I believe so. Mera iman hai. I pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala And the war today is not of physical constructs. It's an intellectual game in the world today, with artificial intelligence, with computing. Such intellectual changes, brick and mortar, takes time, but ideas and intellect happens because our intelligence, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala distributed intelligence evenly throughout the world. So our intelligence will shine through, and within the next decade you will start, actually you start seeing the change today, but within the next decade it will be obvious throughout the world. You survived COVID in a manner very few nations in the world did, because of your discipline, because you cared for the poor. Keep that in mind. You lift the whole nation. You don't isolate people. What India is doing is isolating people. As long as you make a nation, when you lift your poor and the downtrodden along with yourself, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives benefits in His own way. And COVID was one example. So therefore, ladies and gentlemen, you are a strong nation. You will become one of the most efficient and the strongest nations on earth, inshallah. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Pakistan, Pindabad.